Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're still on the way to 12,900 subscribers. And of course, if you could click the like button, I would be incredibly grateful. We're back. Arsenal are back. I am back. All is well in the world. That is all I can say. No, look, I apologize. Been away for a couple of weeks. The international break, I can't deal. I cannot deal with it. I cannot deal with the international break. And then last week, my girlfriend got quite unwell. So delayed the return until today. But it was worth it. And we are now back. It is good to see so many of you here. There's loads to talk about. Obviously, now it's content central because Arsenal are playing every 3 or 4 days. And I am absolutely buzzing. Jakob, Luke, Ethan, Layla, Hyper, Saka, Logical Nonsense, Magnus, Ross Lawman, Oslo, Guna, Matthew, Hannah, Ryan, Nid, Tentago, Leo, Pedro, Mia, Inprops, Pekka, Timmy. It is good to see you. I hope you're all doing very well. The last stream was before the David Coote video was leaked. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That feels like a long time ago as well. I could have gone live for the David Coote stuff, to be fair, but Rory back from a social media detox. Yeah, kind of. And I'm alive, which is a good thing as well. For any of you that may have thought that I had passed away. We're all good. Crazy that we only played a couple of days ago and we've already got a preview. Yeah, I mean, look, today is we're going to go through the Forest game because it makes me happy to talk about Arsenal being good again. But we do have the Sporting game tomorrow. Now, as far as I'm aware, Arteta hasn't done a press conference yet. So we don't know entirely who's fit. But actually, I do know who's fit. Basically everyone. Ben White and Takahiro Tomiyasu, the only 2 players that are not fit enough to travel. Kieran Tierney has travelled with the squad, as has Miles Lewis-Skelly, who missed out on the weekend because he had a knock. The press conference is at 7. There we go. I'm expecting basically nothing new. Nobody is injured. Obviously, a couple of players are still carrying knocks. Declan Rice is still carrying something. Which, look, the longer that we can leave Declan Rice to recover, the better. Obviously, he was on the bench against Nottingham Forest had we needed him. Fortunately, we didn't need him. And look, the further we can go without needing to bring him back or rush him back, the better. Last time you were live, Ipswich beat Spurs, and now Spurs beat Man City. Yeah, it's crazy. By the way, we will be live on Big Up tomorrow evening for the Sporting versus Arsenal watch along. As always, link is down in the description to Big Up. It'll be good to be back on there because I've not streamed on there for a couple of weeks either. My sweet Prince Takahiro is still out. Yeah, we hadn't spoken about that, but it did come out the other day. Takahiro Tomiyasu, not only struggling physically, but apparently struggling potentially mentally. So he's actually left. He's left London Colney, I believe, and is training separately to try and get himself back on track. So hopefully he does that as quickly as possible. Look, it must be very, very tough for Tomiyasu to repeatedly get injured. He doesn't want to be injured. He wants to play football. And then you get injured and you're frustrated about it. And then you go online and people are kind of, gunning for you as if it's your fault and as if you want to be injured. It must be very difficult. And for players like him and Reece James and other players that consistently get injured, I mean, even Kieran Tierney. That's why I'm buzzing to see Kieran Tierney back. It must be tough. Are we also going live for Madrid? Liverpool v Madrid. We could do. The thing is, Liverpool v Madrid would be a banging game if it wasn't for the fact that I don't know if Liverpool actually care about it. But we could go live for that one. We could do. How about the City game? Holy crap. Yeah, the City game was crazy. City are in a lot of trouble. And it's frustrating, right? Obviously, it is frustrating that it happens this year when we've not been at our best either. But yes, I don't really see where City recover, at least for the next few weeks. Because with no Rodri and no Kovacic, they have no midfield. They've tried Gundogan. His legs have gone. I mean, I posted a TikTok about it a few minutes ago. Watching the 4th goal, right? The 4th goal that Werner blitzed past Kyle Walker and played it to Brennan Johnson at the back post. If you watch it back, obviously your eyes are on Kyle Walker because God knows what he's doing. But if you watch as well, Gundogan has about a 5-10 yard head start on Brennan Johnson. He looks over his shoulder. He sees Brennan Johnson running and he goes to sprint. And remember the game against Bolton. Remember Arsenal against Bolton where we had the goal that they scored, where we had the corner and then they broke away and Jorginho was the last man. And Jorginho is tracking back and he puts his head down. You know, when you're like almost like a child, then when you put your head down, you're like, I have got to sprint so hard. And there's just no acceleration. Gundogan is like that now. And that's a massive problem for them because I don't know what the solution is. They've tried Rico Lewis there. It doesn't work. He's too weak, I think. John Stones could maybe work, but he's constantly injured. So I really don't see what their solution is going to be. And they've also got goal scoring problems as well. You know, I was thinking, like, you look at their wingers, their attacking players, and the money that they've spent on them. Jack Grealish hasn't scored a Premier League goal in nearly 12 months. It was middle of December last year that he last scored a goal. So we're pushing 12 months since he last scored a Premier League goal. 100 million quid. Doku, however much they spent on him, in 2 seasons so far, or 1 and a bit seasons, he scored 4 Premier League goals in 2,000 minutes. That's 1 goal every 500 minutes, right? By the way, these stats are all worse than someone like Nicola Pepe. Savio has come in, 0 Premier League goals so far in 10 games. Like, if other teams did this, there would be so many questions being asked about the recruitment. There would be if Arsenal had signed that many wingers and none of them were scoring goals, there would be so many questions. And the same with, like, Phil Foden. Still hasn't scored a Premier League goal yet this season. But no one's really questioning if he's fallen off. It's remarkable, but it means that when Haaland struggles to score, no one really steps up and they don't score themselves. Like, yes, they lost 4-0 against Spurs, but the XG wasn't that big of a difference. It was like City had like 2.3 XG and Spurs had like 2.7, but they lost 4-0. So Doku, 3 of his 4 goals were in 1 game. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Even January has scored. January is... I want to talk about that. Look, we'll move on from City to talk about that, because you know what? Being at the game, and especially because the corner of the ground that I was in was kind of where January was operating, which was great to see. And obviously, look, we dominated the game, thoroughly deserved to win. No doubt about that. For the first time in what feels like forever, really since the opening game of the season, we looked comfortable. From start to finish, we looked comfortable. But the one thing that I really actually loved, and I've lost it now on here, was it on here? This, right? We were beginning to lull. And that was fine. We were 2-0 up. It was fine that we were beginning to sit in deep. But there was a lull, and Forest began to build up a little bit of a head of steam. And with 10 or 15 minutes to go, you think, well, if you do concede in this lull, you give yourself a really nervy final 10 minutes where you're holding on to a 1-goal lead. And Arteta brought January on, and look at the difference it made. He brought January on, and it completely swung the game back in our favour. Suddenly we were looking threatening again. Suddenly he's picking up the ball, he's driving. The one move before he scored where he's throwing in the step overs and shot narrowly wide. Like, that for me is going to be a massive, massive asset for us going forwards, because there are so many occasions where we are maybe a couple of goals ahead and we just begin to kind of cruise towards the end. I want this. I want us to go from 2-0 to 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 at the end of games. Rather than, because you never know, it can happen. It can happen where you concede once and then you concede again. I mean, we saw it against Leicester, albeit earlier in the game where we threw away a 2-0 lead. So, yeah, massively, massively happy with January and just the overall performance of the team. Raya, who didn't have to make a save, was absolutely excellent. His distribution was brilliant. He was finding this space here a lot, sort of between these 3 and finding Erdegaard in here and Jesus a couple of times. He was brilliant. Timber. What I loved about Timber was he allowed Saka to stay much further forward in this game. And Hudson-Odoi is a tricky player, right? But Timber basically said to Saka, I've got it. Don't worry about it. You stay forward. You stay in those threatening positions. I'll deal with Callum Hudson-Odoi. No problem. I love that. Saliba against Awoniyi, where we've had difficulties with Awoniyi before. Saliba, absolutely dominant. Gabriel as well. Calafiori, again, I know there was maybe one occasion where he got caught out. I do feel like Calafiori seems to be coming up against the quickest players in the world, like, constantly. to my eye, I don't think I've ever seen a quicker player than Ole. He is absolutely rapid, right? And there was one occasion where he managed to get away from Calafiori, but I am certain that the way that we are able to play with Calafiori makes a huge, huge difference for us because we just suffocate teams in. He's so aggressive with it. I love it. Ian, thank you very, very much for being a member for 6 months. Hey, Rory, great to see you again. Hit the likes, people. It really helps the algo. It does. If you could click the like button, not for me, but for Ian, who is a long-term member of the stream, an absolute legend. Ian, I really, really do appreciate that. But yeah, so Calafiori I thought was excellent, and the way he carries the ball forward as well, the way he moves the ball forward, passing it more quickly, brilliant. And then the midfield was so interesting, right? None of it, literally, there was not a single person that predicted that Jorginho would start this game. We had question marks over whether Rice could play because of the injury. Everyone assumed Partey would play. We go with Jorginho. And it was smart. You know, Jorginho got a poor rating, I think mainly because of the yellow card, but Jorginho played well. Excuse me. Jorginho played really well. And if he wasn't on a yellow, I don't think you'd have taken him off. But the yellow card with the PTSD that we've got from the red cards, I think he had to be taken off. Marino, excellent. You know, the way that Marino, when he gets the ball, and remember at the start when I said that Marino needs to get rid of the ball a little bit more quickly. It was the kind of feedback after the first few games was that he needed to get rid of the ball a bit more quickly because he was getting caught on it. He's actually not getting rid of the ball more quickly, but he's figured out how to make sure that he keeps hold of it. So often, he's holding onto the ball and you're like, you're going to get dispossessed, and he just doesn't. And what it does is it sucks 2, sometimes even 3 players in, and he finds the way out, and then we've got loads of space. So really happy with him. And then in terms of winning duels, absolutely excellent. Lukey is a member for 5 months as well. Let's go. 5 months. We're actually back. Easier fixtures. Come on, you Gunners. Lukey, I massively appreciate it. You know, your support on here and on Twitch is greatly appreciated. Absolute legend. Been saying it all season that Arteta's plan was for Ødegaard to start, and once the game is won, bring on Ethan, and he can get him to develop. But with Ødegaard injury, that prevented the plan. Yeah, absolutely. The yellows were kind of BS. Look, do you know what? That's pissing me off. It really is. And I didn't make a deal of it because, like, we won the game and I'm fed up of moaning about referees. But genuinely, Jorginho's first foul, booking straight away. Jesus, foul, barely anything in it, booking straight away. Saka comfortably wins the ball. The Forest player, like, flings himself face first at Saka, booking. And it does make the games more difficult. Even if you win the game, even if you don't end up getting someone sent off, it just makes the games more difficult. And you look at some of the challenges that Forest players were putting in and getting away with. It was like, you know, they were being refereed as if it was a referee that wanted to let the game flow, and we were being refereed as if he wanted to give a booking for every challenge. And it is frustrating. Saka, world class, no more needs to be said. Jesus, you know, I understood what Arteta wanted to do. Jorginho, Jesus, Trossard. It was very clear that not only was he resting players that I think needed a rest, Havertz, Martinelli, Rice, Partey, but he wanted us to be more technical because Forest will give you a lot of possession, they'll sit off, and they'll allow you a lot of the ball. But they're very difficult to play through. And there were some moments. I mean, there was that one piece of link-up between Saka, Ødegaard, Jesus, where they moved into the box. I mean, if that had ended in a goal, it would have been absolutely sensational. And, you know, there were good moments for both Trossard and Jesus. But I still feel like they are 2 very upgradable positions at this point. I mean, I was kind of imagining, like, don't know if you saw the Wolves game at the weekend or the highlights, but imagine like Mateus Cunha instead of Jesus. You know, not someone that necessarily has to start every game, but that sort of player. But no, look, overall, very, very, very good performance. And, you know, we deserve to win the game, and we did. And it's a decent... I think we benefited from the fact that Forest had neither Morgan Gibbs-White or Elliot Anderson. Like, they are the 2 sort of attacking midfielders that Forest have that can really drive the ball forward. They didn't have either of those. I do think that helped us. But no, it was a very good game. No disrespect to Bernie Blanco, but I freaking love Timber at right back. So do I. And look, I think I said at the start of the season that I could see a world in which this would become the starting back 4. And Ben White is the rotation for Saliba and for Timber. But also, Timber and Calafiori don't need to be... Look, we're not going to need to think about this for a while because Ben White's going to be out for a while. But yeah, I do think Timber is absolutely excellent at right back. I think the way he carries the ball, technically is excellent. Defensively, one-on-ones, I do think it allows us to be more risky by leaving Timber one-on-one with a winger like Hudson-Odoi. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. But I do think this is probably Mikel Arteta's favoured back four because Calafiori has to be at left back. I'm absolutely convinced that Calafiori has to be at left back. And if he is, does Timber not play? Probably not. When Odegaard was out, a big reason why we looked good was because of Cala at left back. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the games that Calafiori's played for us, the games that Calafiori started in particular, started against Forest 1-3-0, started against Shakhtar 1-1-0. Bournemouth, right? He started. We went down to 10 men. Southampton started very nice, a win. PSG started excellent win. Leicester started. Created so much, win. Man City started draw. And that's it. They're the only games that he started. So when we were without him, Newcastle, even Chelsea, I feel like we don't look as good. So there you go. Look, it's what a lot of us predicted. That once we had Odegaard back, we would be a different team. And we were. I love Xhaka, but only 34 likes on the stream is a red card offense. Yeah, there's over 100 of you here. So if we could get to 100 likes, that would be ideal. Cunha can play attacking mid as well. He and Strand Larsen are keeping Wolves up. Yeah. I think a lot of teams, I think at this point, or a lot of fan bases certainly want Matheus Cunha. Not trying to get overconfident, but I feel like we're going to go on a bit of a run now. Me too. I hope so. I mean, look, you look at the fixtures that we've got coming up now, and we've said this time and time again, but Sporting away, tough game. If you look at Sporting, the season that they are having so far, it's unbelievable. They've played 11, won 11 in the league, scored 39 and conceded 5. In the Champions League, that's not what I wanted to do. In the Champions League, they're second. They've played 4, won 3, drawn 1, scored 9, conceded 2. Even post Amorim, their first game post Amorim, 6-0 win. Now I don't know who that team are. I'm not even sure if they're in the same league because it was a cup game, but it's going to be a very tough game. But after that, we're talking West Ham away without Kudus. Potentially without Paqueta, by the way. If Paqueta gets booked tonight against Newcastle, he will miss the game against us because he'll be on 5 yellow cards. But yeah, West Ham away should win. United at home. I mean, United yesterday for me really didn't look that good. Fulham away, tough, but Fulham away, Fulham themselves have not fallen off. But if you look at the way that they were performing at the start of the season compared to more recently, I mean, a good 2-0 win at Palace, but losing 4-1 to Wolves, it's certainly a winnable game. Monaco at home, Everton at home, Palace at home in the Cup, Palace away in the league, Ipswich at home, Brentford away. It's not until Brighton away that we have a properly difficult game. So, yeah, I'm confident, Rahul, thank you very, very much for the 35. Which one's that? Is it South African Rand? Is it that one? Who do you see coming in for Trossard if we were to replace him? Wingers can be a tricky position in the market, and we need goal-scoring wingers. Well, it's interesting because some of the news over the international break was that we are looking at extending or giving Trossard a new contract, with a pay rise as well. So it'll be interesting. Look, I don't mind keeping Trossard. I don't want the pay rise to be massive. I don't mind keeping Trossard. I don't. I think Jesus is the one that you get rid of before Trossard. For me, Trossard is still a super sub. And he is good enough to be a super sub. And Trossard is on £90,000 a week. Jesus is on 200 and something thousand. What is it? 250? Not 250 a week, is it? Is he on 250 a week? Jesus is on a lot of money. He's like our second highest paid player. So yeah, for me, and then in terms of who you go and get, Kudus is an option. Cunha is an option. If you're going all out, then you're looking at the likes of Kvaratskhelia. But yeah, 265 grand a week. It's just not enough for a player that, you know. And now Jesus doesn't start in our best starting 11. And then if you're looking to the bench and you want to bring someone on, well, I want to bring on January first. I want to bring on Trossard first. It's difficult. It's difficult. I know those phrases. I know who uses those phrases. You're in the wrong chat, buddy. You are in the wrong chat. Insult any of my viewers again, and you'll be gone. Simple as that. Okie dokie. We need to keep winning, or we're in trouble. Yeah, of course. Of course, we have to keep winning. You know, absolutely. We're 9 points behind Liverpool. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. Bring someone good from the Serie A. They get paid less there. Possibly. Possibly. In terms of tomorrow, the lineup that I would go for tomorrow, it's an interesting one. Like, I feel like we can probably go full strength. I mean, the thing is, we still want to avoid finishing in this section here. We want top 8. Currently, we are, 2 points behind top 8. I still expect Aston Villa to drop a bit. I still expect Brest, Monaco to drop a bit. Sporting are above us, which is, you know, problematic if we don't beat them. So, yeah, I think we should go full strength. I think I'd bring Havertz back in. I'd bring Martinelli back in. Maybe bring Rice back in and keep the same back four. The Liverpool game was so frustrating. They should have dropped points, but Saints gifted them 3 goals. They did. The only reason I don't get too annoyed about that is that Southampton gifted us a goal as well. The way that we got back into the Southampton game, or back ahead in the Southampton game, was because they gave Saka the goal that Havertz scored. So, yeah, it was annoying though. I would rather have a new world-class left winger than a backup for Saka, because the number one priority should be the starting 11. I agree. Where you can still upgrade the starting 11, that is the priority for me. Now, what I would like potentially is someone that can do both. You know, someone that... Semenyo is still someone that I would absolutely be looking at as an example. Get Cherky from Lyon. To be honest, I've not seen a lot of him play at all. I know he's highly rated. Kvara can play both. Yeah, I've not seen him play much off the right, but I'm sure he can. He's a good enough player. I think we could get something out of January on the right. Yeah, we can to an extent. The only thing January doesn't have on the right-hand side is like the raw pace to get past a fullback. But in terms of coming inside, yeah, I think we can do that. I do think we can do that. I'd love Tyler Dibbling. Yeah, Tyler Dibbling's he's a left-footed Emile Smith-Rowe, basically. Now we need Liverpool to lose 1 match, and my prediction of game week 13, 5 points off the top, and we win the league stays. There you go. No, if Liverpool win, though, if Liverpool lose the game, we'd still be 6 points behind them. We're 9 points behind Liverpool currently. Did you see the Hudson-Odoi challenge on Saliba? Oof. Yeah, I saw it. It's one of those. I saw some people saying Hudson-Odoi should have got sent off for it. He took a shot, right? It's just unlucky. It's a really unfortunate coming together. Hudson-Odoi has taken a shot. There's no way of taking a shot like that without following through. And Saliba's there. So I don't think it should be a red card. It's very fortunate that Saliba doesn't appear to have been injured by it, because it did look very nasty. But there's just not a lot you can do. Like, you can't stop people from taking shots, which is the only way that you'd be able to avoid a challenge like that. Noosa is so good. Yeah, possibly. But no, for me, I'd go full strength against Sporting. You beat Sporting, you're up to 10 points, 3 games to go. I mean, it sounds like you're going to need 16 or 17 points to get top 8, roughly. So if we're on 10 with 3 to go, we need either 2 wins or maybe 2 wins and a draw from the remaining 3. The remaining 3, what is it? Monaco. Who are our remaining 3 games against in the Champions League? Monaco, Zagreb, and Who's the other one? Monaco's. Is it Feyenoord? No. Girona, away at Girona. Yeah. So yeah, look, I think if we win, we can definitely get 6 or 7 points out of the remaining 3. I do think we can get top 8. Diaz got sent off after a shot because he broke the defender's foot when playing for Porto. It can happen. It can happen, and you can see players get sent off for it. I don't think they should, rather. Do you think this will be one of the lowest points tallies for the winner of the Premier League this season, given that besides Liverpool, basically every team is so close in points? No, I don't think it will, because I think Arsenal will pick up a lot more points and will be chasing Liverpool. And if you look at it, like Liverpool are on 31 points from a possible 36. Like they are on form for a high points finish. So no, I think it will still end up being. I think this City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton all being within a point of each other, for me, that I don't think that fully represents what I've seen so far this season. I agree with you on the red, and therefore Norgard and Baleba shouldn't have been sent off. Yeah, I agree. I thought Norgard was really unlucky, and I thought Baleba was ridiculous. For Baleba to get sent off for that was absolutely obscene. It basically got sent off for running. Baleba did. Absolute madness. Why haven't you been live for a while? I get sick of it during the international break, and it was like there was just nothing to talk about, and I don't want to sit here and just waffle, and especially because I was still doing the Twitch streams, right? So if we want to just kind of chat casually, you can join the Twitch streams in the evening. Link down in the description. And then last week my girlfriend got quite unwell, so yeah, needed to focus on that. But we're back now. We're back, and we are full steam ahead. Remember Martinelli injury, Trent the same way, just by crossing the ball and follow through. Yeah, exactly. Don't care about Serie A, but the title race is heating up. Yeah, have you seen? Look at this. The title race in Serie A is unbelievable right now. And this is why, by the way, any players that you were looking at potentially getting in January, I know people have talked about like Lookman or Kvaratskhelia or whoever. These teams are not going to let players leave in January if it stays like this. 1 point separating the top 5. You're talking about not just 1 point from the title, but dropping 2 points. Drawing a game at this point could take you from top of the league to not even qualifying for the Champions League, which is quite crazy. Will it stay like that? Maybe not. And I still expect Juventus to get themselves back into it as well. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Yeah, all good. I appreciate that, though. Madrid starting Gula now, that he got linked to us. Classic. Yeah, look, Arda Güler is someone that I really like. I really enjoy watching Arda Güler play. Like, not a priority signing for me, though. Eats into Nwaneri's minutes. Like, definitely increases the depth in the squad. But like I said, when you can still improve, I mean, there's other depth that we need more of, and you can still improve the starting 11. So there would be a handful of games where I think you could probably play a midfield of like Rice, Ødegaard, and Güler, but the majority of the time you'd only be playing one of Ødegaard and Güler, and for me, that's Martin Ødegaard. I think Napoli might pay big for Kivior if we dare risk selling him in January. They need him. Yeah, again, though, it's like, I mean, we might do it. Now that Tierney's back, I guess you could say, well, absolute worst case, you can rely on Kieran Tierney. But yeah, it's just with Tomiyasu and Ben White both out for the foreseeable, I don't know if we'll take the risk. Tchouaméni is the player that I'd want us to sign, a player from Madrid, if we were able to take one of their players. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to let him go now because he can play at centre-back, and obviously they've lost Eder Militao for the rest of the season again. I don't know if they will. I heard on a Norwegian podcast, and they talked about that you said we need foreign refs. They said it was a dumb opinion. I agree with you, though. Say it to my face. How about that? The reason I think we need foreign refs, A, is that there are better foreign refs. There are better refs in Europe. But B, is that we've quite clearly seen that referees are not able to put their biases aside. David Coote made it clear that he's not able to put his biases aside. How many other refs are like that? You bring in someone from abroad, they're not going to have connections to people that live in Liverpool or people that live in Manchester. Like, It is what it is. Do you see a Tierney remontada? No. I wish I did. For sentimentality and for who Kieran Tierney is, I wish I could see it. I don't see it, unfortunately. Even he himself mentioned that he understood that he wasn't part of Arteta's plans, that he understood that the way he plays just isn't what Arteta wants from a player. So I don't even think Tierney has any real kind of ambition of getting back into the team. He might make, look, if we want to sell him, he'll need minutes here or there. Maybe in January he ends up going out on loan somewhere. I could see a loan to Celtic, for example. But we'll see. Did you see the Spanish ref in the Barca game? Not second booking a Barca player for a nasty lunge from behind on Iago Aspas. I didn't see that, no. I didn't see that. Don't get me wrong. Foreign refs are not brilliant. You watch foreign leagues, there are some horrific refereeing decisions over there as well. Don't get me wrong. But if you expand your pool to the top referees in Europe instead of the top referees in England, you're going to get better refs. Where's the automated offside system that they said would come in November after the international? Not coming until next season, probably. Because we're the best league in the world. They think that they're still testing it, and now they don't think it's going to be an option at any point this season. So, yeah, there you go. And it's like, we were sat there in the stadium. This is how ridiculous it is, by the way, if you ever go to the stadium. So, we're sat there for the Timber goal that was ruled out for offside, right? And it's going on and on and on. And we don't even know, really, who was meant to have been offside. And this delay. You've got people, and this is how ridiculous it is, you've got people going back inside onto the concourse where there are TV screens that are showing the match footage, especially the boxes especially. They get the match footage. So people are going inside, leaving their seats, going inside, coming back outside and going, it's Marino. It's close to being offside. Like, it might be given, it might be not. But the insanity of the fact that in the stadium we are completely clueless relative to the people that are sat at home, and when the technology exists where it could be done like that, it's insane. It was used in the 2018 World Cup, though. It was used in the Euros. It was used at World Cups. It's been used in it's used in other leagues. I don't know what they're testing. So so the reason that they're testing it is because they want it to be 100% accurate. But they're not 100% accurate anyway. We've seen them not be 100% accurate even when they're drawing the lines manually with the bloody... It's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time. Just stick it on the big screen, surely. Yeah, exactly. It's 2024 and we're waiting for some guy to draw lines. Yeah, exactly. It's insane. The issue seems more refs refereeing games in their home country where they might have favourites. Well, yeah, basically. I would also remove... I would stop having refs on VAR as well. I would have VAR specialists at this point. One thing that I thought yesterday in the game between Liverpool and Southampton, right? Michael Oliver basically didn't intervene with anything. Michael Oliver basically left every on-field decision as it was, right? So the penalty that Southampton got that I thought was probably outside the box, he left it. Lallana, awful tackle, could have been a red, he left it. The handball penalty, some people will say, well, it came off his chest first, it shouldn't have been handball. He left it. He left all of them alone. And I think that's because he's just been in trouble for getting the West Ham Man United one wrong, where he gave West Ham a penalty at the end of it. So he got in trouble for intervening when he shouldn't have done. And it's like, I just think that these should be consistent VAR specialists that have nothing to do with the actual referees themselves. But honestly, watching at home, we were in the dark on what was happening. Yeah, which is even worse. Have you seen Lever's offside against Sociedad? Yeah. And there was that other one as well. The Isak's offside in the international break was insane because they got the wrong person. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, there you go. So look, score predictions for tomorrow. I'm actually going to go 1-1. The thing that we're still yet to prove is that we can go to a difficult away game in the Champions League and win. We're yet to prove that. Yeah, the level one was auto, yeah, which is a problem. But 1-1, 2-1. Yeah, I think 1-1, which would be all right. But then if we drew, it would leave us on 8 points. We would have to win all 3 of the remaining games, which is possible. We are capable of beating Monaco. We're capable of beating Zagreb, and we're capable of beating Girona. But it just makes it quite difficult, and it puts pressure on those games. But we'll see. 4-0. Well, I mean, do you know what? I am interested to see Saliba against Gyökeres. Genuinely very, very excited to see Gyökeres against Saliba. I think it's going to be interesting. It's bullshit. There's no testing, just disorganization. Yeah, possibly. Sporting rested the starting 11 and play Friday as well. Yeah, Sporting have had a lot more time to prepare for it. They're at home. They're at home. They played Friday. The game that they played Friday, they rested a lot of key players. So, yeah. How will Sporting play with their new manager? I reckon if he's got any sense, given that they've played 11, won 11 in the league, and they're second in the Champions League group, if he has any sense, he'll come in and just say, "Carry on as you were." That's what I would do. Why would you change anything? I would just come in and say, whatever Ruben said, do it. There's no need to change anything at the moment. What did you think of Amorim's first game? United players are just shit. Like, you can see what he's trying to do, but if you compare, for example, the attributes of Sporting's central midfielders compared to Eriksen and Casemiro, it's night and day. So, yeah, he's going to struggle when he's using the players that he's having to use, but that's the task. That is the task for any Man United manager. What's your top 4 prediction now then? Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea. I think. Nacho struggled. I just don't think he's very good. I don't think Garnacho is very good, to be honest. Take the bicycle kick goal out of his legacy. Legacy doesn't have a legacy, but take that out of what he's achieved. Average player. Even the Sporting centre backs. Yeah, exactly. Johnny Evans. Fair play to him. He's still trying, but Jesus. De Bruyne and Doku are back, I think. Arsenal went up to second now since your TikTok the other day. Well, it's mainly because I just didn't I just can't believe how bad City are. I can't believe how bad City are. Yes. Liverpool. I mean, look, they're 9 points ahead of us. So the logical prediction would have to be that they stay ahead of us. We'll see. Garnacho is extremely average. Yeah, basically. Anyway, now it is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm only going to do Guess the Non-Gooner because I haven't got a goal prepared. You know the rules. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So this player started their career at... By the way, I think this one is difficult. This player started their career at Barcelona. They started their career at Barcelona. They moved to Tottenham Hotspur. Whilst at Tottenham, they went on loan to Ipswich Town. They also went on loan to Galatasaray. They also went on loan to Racing. They then moved permanently to RCD Mallorca. They then moved permanently to Villarreal. They then moved permanently to LA Galaxy. They then moved permanently to America. So Barcelona, Spurs, Ipswich on loan, Galatasaray on loan, Racing on loan, Mallorca, Villarreal, LA Galaxy, and America. Dun, 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 dun. And the first person to get it correct is James Salder. It is James Salder. It was indeed Giovanni dos Santos, but I will give you Santos. There you go. Ryan Henderson was second. Oslo Gunnar was third. Felix was 4th, and Ross Lawman was 5th. There you go. A tricky one. A tricky one. For those that watch the Trophies Challenges, you'll understand. By the way, for those people that do watch the Trophies Challenges, the final challenge starts tomorrow. Again, with that series, I was like kind of getting bored of just using the same filter over and over and over again. We've been doing it for like a year. So starting tomorrow, we have the final challenge, the hardest challenge, and that will be it. That will be it. Yeah. Why final? Look, it won't be the final challenge of any description that I ever do. But in terms of using that filter to do Trophies Challenges, it'll be the end. It'll be the end. It's not 20 and 20. Liverpool's team isn't much different. They'll fall off towards the end of the season. It'll happen again. I hope so. I do hope so. Final of the year, I mean. I would highly suspect it runs into 2025. I am not expecting to complete the challenge before the end of the year. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate all of you for joining, for coming back to the channel after the break that we had. Like I said, we'll be live on Big Up, link down in the description for the watch-along against Sporting tomorrow. And then we'll be live on Twitch tonight as normal. So I hope to see as many of you there as possible. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Newcastle versus West Ham tonight. Should be a decent watch. And yeah, other than that, I'll catch you all either this evening or tomorrow. Goodbye.